I wonder how many KEF fans have been waiting for them to launch a 3D surround soundbar. Well, today I'm telling you, the wait is finally over. KEF has officially announced the release of a Dolby Atmos and DTS-X supported soundbar this month called the XIO. As with their other audio products, it features a lot of proprietary technologies. What exactly are they and how does it perform? Let's dive into this 5-digit price range soundbar in detail. Hi everyone, I'm Eric. Welcome to feversoundcom. Before we begin the unboxing, just a quick reminder, if you want the latest AV news, product reviews, and tutorial videos, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at feversoundcom. Follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook. We'll share the latest AV updates through our social media platforms. If you like this video, don't forget to CLS, comment, like, and share, because this trilogy helps push the video to more viewers. Thank you all. Today we're testing KEF's new soundbar product. The model is called XIO, quite a unique name. From the packaging, you can already tell it supports Dolby Atmos. And also music streaming platforms, so it's not just for movies, it handles music too. What's it like? Let's unbox it together. It supports wall mounting. There's also a template to help you mark the wall for accurate placement. Then use that to mount the soundbar securely. Accessories include the wall mounting kit, which is the box of accessories just mentioned for wall mounting. Quite thoughtful. They include these items. So what other accessories are there? As expected, you get a user manual with KEF's now iconic blue cover. It includes the warranty, user guide, safety instructions, and specifications. All the information you need is here. It also comes with an HDMI cable, ultra high-speed HDMI. And there's also a remote control. You can switch input sources like Wi-Fi, TV, optical, also EQ1, EQ2, Bluetooth, and there's play pause control. So yes, you can definitely use it to enjoy music. Of course, it also comes with a power cable, UK style figure 8 plug, an L-shaped figure 8 plug. Next up is the soundbar itself. A very solid unit, quite heavy. Let's finally unveil its true form. The speaker grille features a lot of velvety material that should help create a more refined sound signature. At a glance, there appear to be 3 speaker drivers in front and center channels. All the connection ports are on the bottom. The design looks familiar, reminiscent of the LSX series. Power connects here with an on-off switch. You also get optical input, HDMI ERC input, and a network port. There's also a subwoofer output and a USB Type-C port, which can be used for firmware updates or maintenance. Under the XIO name, you'll find a Bluetooth pairing button and a reset button. Then on the speaker, on my left-hand side, there's the power button and input source switch, a mute button and volume up-down controls. There's also a row of indicator LEDs showing the current input, as well as volume level indicators you can easily see. According to KEF, the inspiration behind the name XIO comes from the Greek letter X, commonly seen in physics and mathematics. They use this letter due to its symmetrical shape, which allowed the XIO soundbar to feature symmetry in both appearance and driver layout, starting with the drivers on the left, right, center, and a pair of upward firing units. They use brand new UniQ MX coaxial mid-tweeters. These are considered KEF's signature technology, miniaturized UniQ drivers. Inside the 2-inch units, there are independently functioning mid-range cones and tweeter domes, separated by a decoupler that provides crossover isolation. On both ends of the soundbar are full-range 2-inch mid-tweeters. These are responsible for delivering rear surround effects. And even though the XIO only measures 70mm thick and 165mm deep, KEF still managed to integrate 4 bass drivers into it. They use back-to-back mounted 50 by 180mm racetrack-shaped P185 woofers, with P-Flex origami-style surrounds, which enhance low-frequency extension and detail clarity, allowing these drivers to deliver bass comparable to a 4-inch woofer. Each woofer is also equipped with KEF's new and patented Vico velocity control technology. This system monitors driver behavior in real time and corrects motion errors, significantly reducing distortion. All the drivers mentioned are powered by dedicated Class D amplification circuits, delivering up to a 5.1.2 channel immersive surround sound configuration. The MIE DSP algorithm, which has appeared in many recent KEF products, is also implemented here in a special cinema-tuned version. In addition to supporting Dolby Atmos, DTS-X, and Sony 360 reality audio decoding, it also features 2-channel audio upmixing and IPT, intelligent placement technology. The latter detects the soundbar's surroundings and objects like walls and furniture. to analyze the acoustic environment where the soundbar is placed. Then it automatically tunes the EQ accordingly, allowing the soundbar to deliver the most optimized sound for that specific space. It also supports adaptive positioning modes for wall mount or tabletop use. The soundbar will automatically adjust the driver output distribution, including when to activate the center drivers, and whether the side drivers should act as front or upward firing units. All of this is handled by the MIE DSP system. Besides wired subwoofer connectivity, XIO is also compatible with the optional KW2RX wireless receiver, allowing it to wirelessly pair with KEF or other subwoofers to boost bass. XIO comes in the silver grey finish that we're testing here, and is also available in rock black. The chassis is made of aluminum, and the speaker grille is made from splash-resistant material. Once you enter, the home screen shows the main controls, including input source switching. When using Wi-Fi, you can not only stream from various cloud music services, but also listen to KEF's own podcast and stream music from your own UPnP server. This section supports up to 24-bit 384 kHz PCM. After selecting some music, you'll also see it supports DSD playback. Under the music section, you'll find a list of various streaming platforms. In the KEF Connect app, you can log into high-res streaming platforms like Qobuz and Tidal. Then under the information section, you can see the current playback details. For example, Qobuz 24-bit 192 kHz is fully supported. Next is the settings section. If you haven't set up any presets yet, it will offer you two setup options, namely EQ Wizard and Add Profile to configure your EQ. The EQ Wizard allows you to set up your EQ step by step, tailored to your room environment and personal needs. The first thing it asks is how far your soundbar is from the floor, then the size of your room, and whether you are using a dedicated subwoofer. Then it will automatically run a comprehensive sound calibration process. You will hear a distinct tone lasting for about 10 full seconds during this important process, ensuring optimal audio performance. Then it automatically performs the calibration. Once calibration is done, an EQ curve will be generated. You can rename it afterward, and that's the calibration completed. If you already know how you want to set up the soundbar from the presets, you can just tap Add Profile, choose General Mode, and assign a name, then go through the same settings that you saw in the EQ Wizard. Those options will all be available for manual selection. After setting up your EQ, you'll also see there are 6 sound profiles to choose from. Tap the eye icon to understand what each of these profiles does. Then you can choose what each name represents. I highly recommend that if you're listening to music and want something close to a 2-channel setup, then pick the direct option. For movie watching, just choose default so you can enjoy KEF's own sound tuning. The movie profile will have more dynamic effects. You can select it here too. If there are firmware updates or new feature additions later, you can go to the firmware section to update. Besides streaming music playback, it also supports AirPlay 2 and Google Cast functionality. Just remember to enable Google Cast in the settings menu. Now let's talk about surround sound performance. In our test, we used various streaming platforms and some demo discs from 4K Blu-rays for comparison. And I must say the surround performance was very impressive. First is the surround sound positioning and the placement of Dolby Atmos audio objects. It presents them with great detail and clarity, and the richness of those audio objects. So when reproduced through different drivers of the soundbar, you get a highly detailed and rich sound field. This performance is something I honestly didn't expect. I wasn't anticipating such good results from this soundbar. That's the first area where I think it really excels. Next, the 3D and vertical soundstage from the up-firing drivers. The soundscapes are also very full and incredibly immersive. You can clearly and distinctly feel the effects coming from directly overhead, creating a truly captivating sense of height and dimension. Furthermore, the upper left and upper right areas of the sound field are richly and comprehensively filled in, ensuring a complete and enveloping audio experience. For a soundbar product in this category, it is absolutely one of the top tier performers. As for the bass, that's another area where the soundbar impressed me. When I first unboxed it, I could tell it was solid and heavy, but I didn't expect such bass performance from a slim soundbar. It truly delivers surprisingly good bass. The clever part is its use of a back-to-back driver configuration. This is the same design found in many high-end subwoofers to enhance bass response. And applying that here is really a smart move. Of course, it's not going to be like a 12-inch or 16-inch subwoofer, delivering massive impact and ultra deep bass details, but for an all-in-one soundbar solution. Even without a separate dedicated subwoofer being added to the system, its overall bass impact and the intricate layering of those low frequencies are already more than sufficient to genuinely satisfy a great many discerning users. This is especially true and particularly relevant if your listening room or personal space isn't exceptionally large or expansive. For a typical Hong Kong living room, it can easily fill the space. So as KEF's very first and truly innovative 3-dimensional surround soundbar, I would personally and quite confidently rate the XIO at around an impressive 80 out of 100. That is precisely how I genuinely feel about this exceptional product and its overall performance. Of course, if you already own a home theater system, or even if you already have a dedicated subwoofer at home, you could definitely consider adding this impressive soundbar to significantly enhance your overall audio setup. The results would naturally be even better, but even without any additions. As a standalone all-in-one soundbar system, its 5.1.2 performance is more than enough for many users. Now, because it's shaped like a soundbar, its sound is ultimately still limited by that form factor. It can't deliver a true 2-channel stereo image and soundstage, so that experience is simply not the same, especially when you use it in music mode. It does up mixing, turning a 2-channel signal into a 5.1.2 output. So the overall result sounds much more like truly listening to high-quality Dolby Atmos music. It effectively delivers a truly immersive, 3-dimensional, and wonderfully spacious audio effect, rather than a true 2-channel presentation. But when you switch to direct mode, it behaves more like a 2.1 system. Because I specifically touched the soundbar to check, it only uses the left and right front drivers and the subwoofer driver to perform playback in direct mode. This presentation feels more like a 2-channel setup. But since it's still a soundbar in form, the imaging feels like it's coming from the bar itself, rather than from a spacious stereo stage. It's more like the sound image appears beneath your TV. That said, vocals do sound quite clear, and the bass presence also benefits from this driver setup. The overall effect is pretty solid, and the layering is decent, but it might struggle a bit in the high frequencies. Especially when playing orchestral music, strings or wind instruments may not sound entirely relaxed. It lacks a bit of ease in this area, so that's something to keep in mind. Also, its imaging can't match something like two LS50 wireless speakers with their wide, layered and immersive stereo stage, with horizontal, vertical and depth all covered. After all, this is still the soundstage of a single soundbar. If you intend to use this soundbar mainly for music listening, I suggest keeping your expectations at background music level, or think of it as a multimedia all-in-one speaker. In that sense, it performs more than adequately, but if you want to use it for serious 2-channel listening, then I'd recommend going with a proper LS50 wireless setup that will give you a truly ideal stereo experience. Now, are there any significant shortcomings or notable areas for improvement that we should consider? It only has HDMI ear key. Personally, I think it would be better if it had one more HDMI input, given that it already supports DTS:X decoding, and also Sony's 360 reality audio decoding. If you could connect external sources directly to the soundbar and play that content natively, it would better utilize its built-in decoding abilities and give users more flexibility in usage. Another point is, since this is a 5.1.2 surround setup, you can't expect strong surround presence from the rear center area, so the overall enveloping feel and the immersive rear surround sound field will be quite limited and somewhat constrained. Also, it still only has 2 up-firing drivers. The coverage already reaches overhead, but if you want sound coming from behind your head, this soundbar still has room for improvement. However, it already supports the KW2 wireless receiver, which allows wireless connection to KEF subwoofers. So in the future, will there be potential for wireless surround speakers? Or even wireless surround speakers with built-in up-firing drivers, adding more speaker outputs overall to create an even richer 3D surround sound experience. So whether this soundbar can become even more perfect in the future will depend on how well the XIO soundbar sells and how much KEF is willing to invest in it. This is definitely something worth watching. That wraps up our review of the KEF XIO soundbar. If you enjoyed our video, please give us a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. And tap the bell icon after subscribing, so you'll get notified whenever we release new content. As for the KEF XIO soundbar, we're planning to host a demo event next month, so stay tuned for our upcoming announcements. If you're curious about the XIO soundbar, be sure to join our event. That's it for today's video.